I've been told multiple times, like, forgiveness is something that takes a really long time. I'm not sure, like, if I'm there yet. My relationship right now, at this moment, with my past, with my parents at least, you know, it's over. It ended the day I was kicked out.
It was all or nothing in my mind. Like, they love me now, but they're gonna hate me and they won't want anything to do with me. I think I was scared of being disowned because you hear about it, I don't know, in the news or on TV about someone coming out and getting disowned. If they're not supportive, that's what's gonna happen.
People did reject me. They felt I was choosing this lifestyle, and they said I was embarrassing them, shaming them. Rejection is a reality for you. Rejection from family, society, friends. It's a part of your day-to-day existence.
The question comes all the time, what's wrong in him? I gave birth to a son, and he is a proper man, and what he's talking about doesn't make any sense. I used to believe if you pray, 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 you can change everything.
I said to my son, I said, I feel so bad. I gave you birth, and you have to face this. Said, no, Mom, it's not your fault. But I feel that for a long, long time.
This is closure for me in a way. I feel that I can express myself and get it out there, and I will speak the truth.
One of the things that's been running in my head for the longest time is, how do I want to tell my story, you know? How do I take control of the narrative? Taking control of your story and sharing those pieces are the ones that you always try to hide from the world. You know, I think that's the strongest thing that anybody can ever do.
Yeah. Or Vendog?
Yeah. They were very outgoing. Not TV watching, all day outside. So fun. It was so fun. Art was very nice boy. He has so many friends. Because our house is close to school, all the neighborhood kids come to our home to play with him. And the kids come and eat roti. English kids are eating roti. I can't eat even 2 rotis and kids are eating 4 rotis. Jagu was like daddy's baby. She was
Just like me. Just like me.
She was like daddy. She was like daddy.
Let's say around 4 or 5 years old, I was very tomboyish. I wanted to dress like my brother. I had short hair. Even in kindergarten, the kids couldn't tell if I was a boy or a girl. I always liked playing with boy things. I didn't like dolls. Something was different about me, I think.
Oh, that's my son. I have 3 sons. This is the middle one. And we gave him name Amar, and he gave himself name Alex. He's about 4 years old on this picture. He already become a counselor, social worker, and the artist in the house.
My grandmother told my mom when I was born, she said, this kid's gonna be special one day when you grow up. And my mom didn't know what special meant. I remember one of my neighbors had a big, huge dollhouse. And I was just a fantasy, just a dream to walk into this dollhouse and have it filled with all these dolls. That was my fondest memory of my childhood. And I remember I never could understand why boys want to play with trucks and get all dirty in the dirt. And it seemed like such an uncultured, uncivilized thing to do. Like, what interests them in all that? You know, I was clean and, you know, wanting to be like a princess and play with girls.
Pause. When people ask me that questions, like, tell me about yourself. Right now, I always introduce myself as like, I'm Caden. I'm from Ludhiana. Been a recent immigrant here, like, you know, it's been almost 5 years. I work at a credit union. And then after that, I'm like, I don't know. I like playing soccer. Yeah, so that's usually my description. When I was in kindergarten or something, so my sister's almost 14, 15 years older than me. I was like a little play toy, like she could take care of. Every day she would take me to school, and then at lunchtime she would bring me food and stuff, so I would get so excited to see her. Yeah, that's the earliest memory that I have of childhood. I necessarily didn't have a great childhood, I guess. Like, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. And I came at a period in my parents' life where they were kind of not expecting me. And then I guess that caused a lot of drama in their own life. My mom was always focused on the household chores, and my dad was always out. And then when he would come home, he would just sit in his own room and drink. I remember a lot of fights, very like silly things. Oh, like, you know, my food is not warm enough, and then he would throw the plate. I don't have a fond memory of my dad and my mom, you know, just being loving and supportive of each other. It was around that time my sister went to college and she moved out. They thought like it would be better for me to go to a boarding school because the education was better. I guess that was their mentality. It is hard because you lose that comfort, like, you know, or the sense of belonging. And then when you're the weird one out, like you don't know where to find that. So just want to talk to my mom and hear her voice, and that'll make my day. That'll make my days like that. I was good for a week just listening to her voice for 5 minutes.
He used to watch a program called Brady Bunch. And if Amar's father come home, he always asked us to sit on the chairs and listen to Amar, that how dad should talk to mom, how mom should answer, things like that. And he was so cute kid for forever.
You see, my father was 19 and within 3 years he had 3 kids. He was an immigrant to this country. He wasn't really ready to be a father. He wasn't really ready to get married. I'm not making excuses for his lack of parenting. However, you have to understand the situation. He was trying to get a job and feed not only his immediate family, but his extended family. And I don't think he could cope. He started drinking. He was not treating my mom very well. He was abusive.
I've been through a lot. Sometimes feel that nobody listening to me, nobody understanding me. So why would I waste my time? For many days, I'm angry with God, crying, fighting with God, reading so much Holy Granth. So I was almost alone to go through that journey.
She was reading prayers all the time, and she was devoted to that, and she didn't believe in alcohol or any of this, and she wanted to be, you know, safe. So she took me and my brothers, and she went to live with her brother. And that took a lot of courage at a time in the 1970s, where if you were an East Indian woman, an Indo-Canadian, South Asian woman, if you left your husband, that was a major, major stigma in the community.
God sent me here for a reason, and all the things changing in life, and the biggest change came in Amar, my son. Watching my son, it was telling me something, but I was not knowledgeable enough to understand.
As I got older, people used to call me girlish or a girl, and I never understood what was wrong with me because I was just being myself. You know, one time I was sitting in a chemistry class, I put my hand up to answer a question. People just laughed. They said, "Oh, you sound like a girl." I was just answering a question that the chemistry or the science teacher was asking, and they said, "Oh, they were all laughing at me." I think I was in grade 8 at the time.
I was really good with the girls, so like I would have more girlfriends instead of like having boyfriends at school, right? Well, I mean, having other boyfriends. I liked things that they were doing. I liked the way they talked about things. The boys would always like talk about like things that would never interest me. I would have these hand gestures or whatever, like, you know, or way of talking, which was like kind of feminine more than, you know, being masculine. And then anybody could look at me and say like, "Oh, this guy kind of doesn't fit in." That kind of like made me fall out of the norm even more.
Not just physically I felt different, but like something, I don't know. I didn't feel girly like the girls. I think I related more with the boys in the class. I think I've always, on some level, felt like an outsider in one way or another.
She was little, and my nephew's picture came from India. As soon as she see the picture of my nephew, he was wearing hat, everything. Then that day she quit like wearing dresses. He wear chunni.
With the music, he turned the music on and have the chunni on, then he start dancing there.
Dancing. Once somebody sent bangles to us from India. He wear to even the bank we went to. He doesn't want to take off. If I go back, I can see both.
My sex education when I was in high school was for 15 minutes, and it was about how to put a condom on a banana. I was like, okay, great. Thanks for telling me this. And they were talking about the internal ovaries of a woman. And I was like, great. What am I supposed to do with this? So really, it didn't get through to me. You know, I had to learn everything myself.
We were sitting in the hallway in high school, and there were these posters on the wall for the Gay-Straight Alliance in the school. They had put facts, like 1 out of every 10 people is gay. I don't remember what the stat was that they wrote on there. And that was kind of shocking to me. Like, oh, out of our 10 friends, 1 of us is gay? Or like 1 of you is gay kind of thing. Not knowing, like nobody talks about it. I don't even think the teachers ever talked about being gay. They just put these posters up and even more confusion. It was kind of like a bad thing.
I was finding the boys in my high school attractive at that time. And I thought I'm sick or there's something wrong with me. Why don't I find the girls attractive? I felt like I was the only gay brown kid in Newton and Surrey you know, going to a school that had a lot of racial tension. So I'm trying to fit in with the brown guys, and I'm trying to fit in with the white guys, and I'm hanging out with the girls, and I'm trying to pretend like I'm straight. I was trying to pretend I could, you know, just fit in. I really couldn't fit in. I was putting on a big act. I remember someone wrote, you know, fag on my locker, and I pretended I didn't see it, but everyone around me saw it. And, you know, it was scratched in, and I tried to make it spell something else, and that's when it kind of hit me that there's something wrong with me.
In my bringing up, we were not allowed to say this is my boyfriend, or I'm going out with a man, or I'm having a coffee here and there. That was just absolutely NO period, my time. And then my father and myself, were very proud of Amar that he never bring a girl at home. I never know what to do. I don't know what to call myself. So naive, don't know anything.
This is funny. I remember having a crush on my dentist, and I loved going every 6 months or whatever. And obviously, as a kid, I didn't know I had feelings for her, but looking back, like, it was very distinct feelings I had. Like, I'd be lying in bed at night, wishing that in my next life, I'd like to come back as a boy so that I can date the pretty girls. It still didn't occur to me that I might have feelings for these girls. I just knew that boys and girls date each other, so I want to date them. So next life, I want to come back. Like, I'm gonna ask to come back as a boy. And like a young child trying to figure out, if I'm drawn to these girls, am I a boy inside? I think having a crush on a girl or woman when you're young, especially because we don't talk about being gay or even that you can be gay, I think you kind of suppress the feelings and you don't properly understand what they are. First, you acknowledge it within yourself. You have to come out to yourself. Then you have to figure out how am I gonna tell my best friends or my family? And then I remember being really depressed for a long time, not knowing how to tell my friends, not feeling confident in telling them. I guess I was ashamed to come out to them. We didn't have any other gay friends at the time, so it was a big step that I didn't want to take.
Hello. You know, I think her story and my story are probably quite similar in that we're so obsessed about our own experience and narrative and secret and things like that.
This is when I think MySpace was really big. He had a blog, and I was looking at his profile one day on the computer, and I saw him write something about his boyfriend, and my heart sank. I had been struggling with how to tell my parents for so long. Literally, like, my whole world came crashing down knowing that my parents have 2 kids and they're both gay, and how is he gonna come out to them? Like, that, I think I was living in a state of shock for a couple months. Like, every time I'd see him, I would just think, oh my God, he's gay.
She came out to me in a blog post comment. My blog post, she wrote a comment on, and I knew it was her.
I didn't sign it off as my name. I put a code name knowing that he would know who it was. And he messaged me saying, let's talk about this on Monday. And Monday came and we never spoke about it.
And it kind of like, I hate to say it, but it was quite devastating. That bubble I had built, that false narrative I had bought into, was burst. And then, you know, she and I didn't talk about it.
I don't think we've ever openly talked about... At that point, we had never talked about being gay and our fears and everything.
Going into grade 8, we got our summer vacation. Then for summer vacations, when I would come home, like we would always be visiting our relatives and stuff, and then I would just spend time with my uncle. Like I had a very distant cousin, I guess, a third, fourth cousin, like visiting us. He ended up touching me. And then I was like, oh, this feels weird. And this feels out of place, and I don't know how to make sense of this. I kind of had my first experience as being a gay person that I felt like something was wrong with me. I thought I was the problem. Nothing felt right. I just had a sense of disconnectedness from the world. Part of my identity was shook from the core. I guess like I really didn't had anybody in my life, like, or my family, like, where like I was kind of emotionally close to somebody, like I could just let it all out. Having this experience and internalizing it, I just became really rebellious. I didn't want to study, I didn't want to play, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to stay in bed.
I was a very ambitious person my whole life. All of a sudden, I'm dealing with this blow of my identity, my self-esteem, my self-confidence. I was told faggot, queer, homo. People had rumors like that spread among my social circles saying that kind of stuff. I thought homosexuals were bad people. I thought they did horrible things in the world. People made fun of them and they said it's different, it was weird, it was something that normal people don't do. It was quite sad. Many times I thought of ending my life and suicide, but I didn't want to hurt my mom.
I noticed very troublesome when he was in high school. He usually hide things from me and don't want me to go to the room and clean the room and check the rubbish basket or something, but I found a lot in the rubbish basket.
I used to write notes and throw them in the trash can. Those were temporary suicide notes, but I could never finish the note, so I would throw it away.
In grade 10, 11, 12, because he has a habit to write it down things what in the mind and they make it like a ball and throw it there. So when he got out of the house, I opened all of them and I read so much stuff, but I kept quiet.
I did not like myself. I had what they call internalized homophobia, which means you do not like yourself for becoming gay. You want to be straight.
He did not know mother know it, but I knew. But he was always answering me half. If I ask, is there anything? One time I openly say, are you gay? He said, are you kidding? I'm bisexual. I said, what is this?
How can you tell that to your parent who spent years and years slaving away, working in a labor job as a nurse's aide to raise you? Her dream for her child is to get married and bring home a daughter-in-law and have children, and you turn around and say you're gonna go running around with guys and have sex with guys. To me, that's what being gay meant. It didn't mean that you can have a relationship with a guy. It didn't mean that you can get married to a gay brown guy. It didn't mean you can even have a family with a guy. It meant literally, you're giving up this whole idea of a family and you're going off with a guy.
He said, don't worry about that. We are 3 brothers. Older brother will get married and meet your grandma and everything will be done. Please don't look at me. I'm not gonna do things like that. Then the time came, the graduation day. They were going for the prom. beautiful, slim and tall girl came with him. They went in the limo. He said, lots of people coming, but I know you could not afford it, and you just better go to work, and I'll go on my own.
When I was in high school, I didn't date because I was pretending to be straight, right? I found it awkward on prom night. I had to kiss a girl. It was the most awkward thing in the world. Oh my God, I never want to do that again. I was so distressed. I was so unhappy. I could not see what the next day would be like. So I secretly went to see a psychiatrist, and he tried to help me.
Hello. Then there was a little doubt, and that was all complete one day. Early in the morning, one of the psychiatric doctor called me. The doctor was insisting to talk to Amar. I was really angry, and I said, that's my child. I gave a birth. He's only 17. You have no right to say that you only talk to him. You have to tell me what's going on. But doctor put the phone down. They did not tell anything. So after that, I found out that was a counselor, and Amar got from the school to talking to them, how can he be straight?
The counselor listened to me. He saved my life when I had no one else to talk to. He never said, you don't have to be straight. That's impossible. He said, well, let's talk about this. Let's explore it. Why do you want to be straight? And I talked to him about the pressure to get married, to have children, to please my mom, who was a single mom. I didn't want to hurt my mom.
I was definite the way he was treating women with the whole respect. Always, I was dreaming that what type of a girl coming home, and then they will have children, and he will be the best husband and best father, and that wife don't have to suffer the things I suffered with Amar's dad. And but everything shattered, it gone. Yeah, that was past.
I don't know what changed that summer. Like, I still kind of go back in time and try to wonder, like, you know, like, what really happened. Because in a way, like, nothing really happened, or everything happened. Everything changed that summer. After finishing grade 11, like, I was so depressed. I'd given up on studies. I didn't want any connection with my parents. I didn't want any connection with the world that I grew up in. Just wanted to pack my bags and leave. I would go to Bombay, or I will go join an NGO or something. I knew that I wouldn't make much money, but at least I would be happy. And I started planning my escape and I guess my life that way. And one day I was home, and yeah, and then I just decided it's time. I just packed the essentials and then bought a train ticket and then went on my journey. And that journey, it was excruciating. I realized I just boarded the wrong train, in which I didn't have the ticket for it. Hopped on one seat, and then, you know, when they come to check the ticket, like, I just started bawling my eyes out. The whole journey, I was just crying. I remember, like, I had this notebook, and then I'm trying to write, and then, like, it's filled with, like, my tears, and I can't write. I was writing about, like, what I was on earth for. Where do I fit in? Why don't I fit in? That kind of stuff. I haven't opened that diary still, because I feel like I don't want to reopen that trauma, you know? It was like stopping at places, sleeping at railway stations, and then, you know, just roaming around, and then staying in a hostel, and then just crying. I had left my home. I had left every single person I knew in the world, and I didn't want to go back. And it was like a blank slate. Not having so much experience as how to kind of exist in the physical world and being an odd kid. Yeah, I don't know how I survived those 20-something days, but I did. I started imagining like what my mom would be feeling. That really yeah, broke me. Almost 20 days in or something, I caved in and I was like, you know, I'm here. Can you come get me? Did file the police report saying, you know, for me being missing, because like I left no communication that I was gonna be leaving the house. I don't think they knew how to deal with that situation. I knew they were hurt, and I knew I was hurt too. Yeah, they didn't have any idea how to deal with that. Yeah, they were just quiet.
When I graduated from grade 12, it was the best day of my life. Because no longer did I have to care about all these people who would make my life so sad. I wanted to get away from my family and friends and live a secret gay life in England. Unfortunately, when I went there, my grandfather went to India, to Punjab. I was all by myself and I had a nervous breakdown. I stopped eating, I stopped drinking. I looked in the mirror and my eyes were shaking, they were dizzy. I couldn't recognize myself. My body was literally deteriorating and falling apart at that moment. I had what they call a spiritual experience. I had a type of a hallucination. I don't know what time it was. I was in a deep sleep where I felt this really strange energy coming from deep within me. I felt this energy leave my body. You know, the blanket fell from my face, and I saw this amazing light in front of me. I don't know what it was. I got scared, so I covered myself back with the blanket, and I took a peek and it was gone. I was scared at the time. I didn't understand spirituality. I didn't understand God. I didn't understand religion. I didn't understand what it meant. But later, when I was in the hospital, I talked to a priest, and he explained it to me. He says, maybe God is sending you a message that he loves you, and you should live your life how you want to live your life. I went right back to Canada, where I felt I need to be close to my mom.
I was so broken that how I tell my mother what's going on in the house, how I tell my father what's going in the house. And I can't even talk to outside the house with friends or co-worker or anybody because I myself don't understand what's going on. Then I feel for the longest time that I done something wrong in past life and the God is punishing me now to do all that stuff.
I think my mom was confused. She didn't understand. No one teaches, you know, Indian parents or South Asian parents or Sikh families about homosexuality. Where are you supposed to get your education from? There's not one word of homosexuality mentioned in the entire Sikh holy book. It's not an issue. So no one can make that judgment on us. So in a way, I think it's a gift.
One day I cried all night, and then early in the morning, I get up, I take a shower and just open the Holy Granth. And I was reading it. And all of a sudden inside me, I feel like a shower of some blessings or pat on my back. And I felt like bodily feelings that somebody giving me the comfort. I was all alone in the room. After that, I made up my mind, no matter what happened, lift myself up and chin up and go. Anything will happen with God's will, and there's nothing I can do. Only one thing, to love my child. I accept him as it is. But it takes so long to reach that point.
Why am I in a society that treats gay people so badly? Why are they discriminated against? Why are they marginalized? Why do they have to fight for their rights? Why are they not treated with equality and with dignity and respect? It made me angry, and it pushed me into social activism and social advocacy and social work. I wanted to help people because I felt I need to devote my life to helping people. And then I got into teaching and I got into counseling, which is another way of helping people.
To me, according to the Webster Dictionary, gay mean happy. Whole life, I was thinking, what's wrong in to be gay or something? Oh, my child is happy, I'm happy, and what's wrong in it? So then he explained it to me, and then I found out. But I was wondering for whole life what it is. I still sometimes not clearly understand many things, but happy as it is.
As a social worker, I wanted to do something to keep my community safe. The local newspapers interviewed me, the Surrey leader at the time. My mom did the interview with me. You know how powerful that interview was? I had the support of my mom, and my mom put her photo in the newspaper saying she supports her gay Sikh son. So the message went to the parents as well as to other kids who were struggling with their sexuality. And that was in 2008. And she said, you know, I would not support you unless I felt it was the right thing.
I consider him, he's a father of Sher, Vancouver. It's not the only way you can be a father with biological child. He's doing for humanity. I always wanted it. My grandpa was doing it, father was doing it, and I done what I could. I am more happier than if he was an ordinary man, have a wife and children, then may I not be fulfilled inside properly. Now I am satisfied.
I'm thankful for my mom. Everything I have in my life is because of my mom. She has supported me my whole life. When the world was saying, why is your son coming out as a gay Sikh? He's embarrassing the community. My mom stood up for me and she defended me. And I cannot thank her enough for that. She's the best mother in the world. She really, I feel sometimes, is an angel that has come down to help me in my life. You know, she has done so much for me, sacrificed so much for me, defended me, and she still does that every day. And she never rejected me for being gay.
In high school, even though all our Caucasian friends were dating each other, we were never allowed. Like, you can't be friends with boys. And then you get to a point when you're in your early 20s, everyone starts talking about arranging your marriage. You don't know how to talk to boys by that point. You don't know how to date. And all of a sudden, we're supposed to jump into getting married to someone of the opposite sex, right?
There's always this kind of assumption that Indians get married by the time they're 25, and then after that you're past your expiration date. There was a lot of hoping that, you know, my parents aren't going to get my wedding, but at least they'll get hers. That's what I told myself for years.
I had one friend who I came out to, and she was very supportive. And she would talk to me about how we could come up with a plan where I would marry a Sikh gay man, have a wedding for show, and then we could just live our lives. I'm gay on my own, he's gay on his own. And yeah, this was like a really very real conversation we had, because we didn't know how I could tell my family in a way that they would understand that I am gay. Basically trying to do anything to not have people find out. If somebody gets married outside of their caste or outside of their religion, it's a big scandal. If two Indian people in different religions can't get married, how could I even approach the thought of marrying a woman?
There was just this fear that it was gonna destroy things for my parents, and, you know, it wasn't gonna be okay.
We go to Gurdwara, and so many people know us, and everybody wanted to marry their daughter or granddaughter to her. And maybe 50 people asked me. Then he keep on saying no. Then I ask my friend Ravi, ask him why he keep on saying no to every girl, why, what he wanted. Then she took her to Vancouver. They talk, they cry. Then she told me that Raj, sit down and listen what I'm saying to you. Then I shaken up, oh, that? that was a big moment, big, life-changing, life-changing. The day I figured out about her, he was mad, kind of bad mood, and he was so rude. He never rude to Dad.
My dad normally, 98% of the time, is happy, kind, very loving man. And he snapped at me out of the blue, which was really out of character for him. And that kind of got me upset, and I stormed away, went on the computer, and didn't want to talk to him. And then maybe half an hour later, my mom comes into the computer room.
We love our kids so much. I went upstairs to tell Dad that why your dad is upset, because he knows what Harv, this thing.
And she says that Dad's upset because I told him that Harv's gay. And I just froze up.
And Dad started shaking and crying. Said, why you are crying?
Just hysterically crying, not being able to say anything. And I think it kind of scared her. And she just stood there silently. And after a while, she asked me, do you have anything to tell me? I think she clued in, just because of how much I was crying. And then I told her, I was I'm also gay.
Then she said, Mom, I'm the same. That's the toughest moment in my life. That is a girl, and she's different. And what would happen? What is the future for her now? Then I start to pray. Then I was oh, I have to deal with not one, both of my kids. It's tough.
I've never been hugged by anybody as tightly as she hugged me then. Yeah, that was a really powerful moment for me. She said to me, if anybody gives you a hard time, I don't want you to invite them to my funeral. They don't need to come to that. And I knew then that it would be okay.
It was like I have to hug them. That oh, if it's okay with her, then why not okay with you? It's a hard part about the daughter. I'm not saying I feel bad that I didn't feel that bad about her because he's a boy. He's a strong one. He can fight.
And then I think the very next day, my dad sent me a text. He had never texted me before. Like, this was new technology for him at the time. This was like 10 years ago. And he sent me a text saying something like, "Good morning, Jaggu. I love you. I'm sorry about yesterday." And that just was so moving to me.
I think I just said, or maybe, I love you guys the way I loved you yesterday. I love you today same way.
Same.
It's not different in there.
Yeah.
So
Because that
just the way you are, be okay with that.
we are okay.
I think it's hard to tell. We couldn't tell the difference. Yeah.
It's
Well,
hard to
it's,
come out,
hard to
I
come
think.
out.
Yeah. It's very hard for them too. But lucky that thing didn't happen, that we didn't beat or something. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's meant to be that moment.
I think that was huge, like to know that they were on this journey with me was really helpful. It could have been a lot harder on all of us if they hadn't kind of accepted it as quickly as they did. Like, I think it would have caused potentially years of like a rift between us,
Slowly, all my support from my friends and my doctor make me strong. Makes me strong, yeah.
Yeah, she's very strong. Look after the kids and me same time. Then I couldn't control myself. I'd be crying in there. Then
For weeks.
yeah,
Weeks. It's a new birth to us too. Him, her, dad.
no, it's 3.
Three babies born again.
I don't know how much my parents struggled with it. I don't know what they went through, knowing that both their kids are gay, but openly, like towards me at least. And I don't know what their conversations were like with my brother, but I feel like my relationship with them has gotten so much stronger since before. Like, if I could say that out loud to them, that I'm gay, then anything else is an easy conversation to have. Yeah, I think I'm one of the few lucky ones who can have such an open relationship with my family. I've spoken to enough queer Indians to kind of know if they're not accepting kind of the way that their journey goes. And for a lot of people I've met, their parents don't even acknowledge that they're gay. Even if they have a partner, they don't acknowledge it. Or they still keep pushing arranged marriage on them.
I was already broken from what I did and things that I was experiencing. I didn't really have any control over life, I guess, or myself, or where I was going. And then I didn't really want to fight it anymore. I just gave up. One night, my parents were gone. They told me they were gonna come next day, but they came in a day early. So my dad found me in bed with another guy, and then he physically abused me or whatever, that moment happened. He said, if anybody else in the family finds out, you're done. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't deny it in that moment. And it was kind of like owning up to myself, be like, I am this person, accept me. My dad took control of the narrative from there on. He just wanted to send me here to Canada so that I wasn't part of the family anymore. All my life was leading up to that point where they would disappear from my life. Coming here, I think that didn't really work out in his favor. Like I focused a little bit on school, and then, a couple of semesters in, started, I guess, mingling with the queer people here. So there was this one guy that lived closer to where I was living, so I started hanging out with him. One day, I was just sitting in the park, and then I think I was kissing him or something, and a cousin saw me. They were like, "What were you doing?" And I'm like, "I just told them I was kissing a guy." And then they're like, "Why are you doing this? What's wrong with you?" My cousin kind of beat me up after that. He's like, you're a gay, you're a faggot, you're this and that. Something that's not part of the norm, people don't like that. Because that creates some sort of hatred, right? To me, that's a good enough reason of why somebody would be homophobic, and then that's how I make sense of it. They're just ignorant. If they know about all these things and they still want to act in a way of hatred, then there's something wrong with that person. Really didn't try to hide it from anybody, so I guess the family slowly figured it out, and then I wasn't ready for the repercussions. I was being true to myself. I wasn't denying that I wasn't gay. On the verge of being homeless in a country where you're temporarily here and then have nowhere to go. If being true to myself is gonna entail this, and this, then what's the point of life? That was pretty much the lowest point in my life. I got to a point where I was just like, I'm just gonna jump. And then I didn't. I guess you do not really, think logically when you're going through these motions. If death is not the answer, what's the least you can do? And then the answer that I got was, the least I can do is just live out these fears. Just don't repress these experiences. I guess there's a beautiful side on the other end of it. I wanted to believe in that. It was very much survival. Guess wanted to live, didn't want it to die. So I was trying to reach out for everything that I could. I don't know what I was doing. I guess I just messaged a whole bunch of communities and stuff, and I messaged Amar to see if there's any way who could help me.
One of the reasons I founded Sher Vancouver, which is a queer group for South Asians and friends, was because there was a number of suicides in the community. There was a boy from Afghanistan who jumped off the bridge. In a suicide note, he said he was straight, but he was called queer, fag, homo. He was bullied every day at school, that it was so miserable. He was a victim of homophobia, and he ended his life. When Caden emailed me, it seemed overwhelming. How can I help this kid from another country? He emailed me and said he was homeless, helpless, had no place, had no food, had no shelter. His family disowned him for being gay. I thought this was a joke. Could this actually be happening? So me and my friend, one of my best friends, went to go meet him. And he was shaking, his eyes were shaking, he was skinny. My friend says, what's the point of helping people who are gay and brown in your community if you can't help this kid?
You know, reaching out to Amar, him just comforting me like everything's gonna be okay. That was kind of like the first thing that made me like, oh, you know, like I kind of, like there's a place for me, you know, I can, there's other people out there like me who, you know, I can relate to. And like, I think that was kind of amazing in a way. The world felt like a little better, right? I guess something that was missing in my life, something I guess I was looking for or I was just not trying to find was a person who had lived that similar kind of experience and then I come out of it. Yeah, so Amar was that person in that moment, you know, just giving me hope. Yeah, and making me like see that, you know, like it gets better from there onwards.
He's still suffering. He misses his mom. I've seen him on the phone call his mom one time in India and she just hung up on him. That just broke my heart. I couldn't deal with it. Could you imagine the grief and the pain that this kid must have gone through to be totally disowned for something which he has no control over?
I don't know what caused them to hate me so much. Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal if a person is gay, you know, and then you can hate somebody so much that you'll kick that person out of your life. It's ridiculous. You know, the sense of loss from your past and losing your parents and, you know, nothing really gets resolved, right? I would say to my dad if I could, that you're missing out. You know, you're an unlucky man. And I don't mean that in a hateful way, but you are unlucky. I know my mom never really rejected me. I don't think she will ever be able to reject me. Yeah, I just want to get to a place where, you know, where I can see her, you know, kind of resolve things for the last time. Just a lot of questions.
It's sad. Every child wants to have the love and acceptance and support of their parents. I have not received the full embrace from my father. Sometimes he has even told me to my face, when people talk to me, oh, your son is gay, he's on TV doing this or that, he says he feels ashamed. He says in our community, that is not something to celebrate. It brings shame to the community, it brings shame to the family. Even to this day, my dad says, I love you as a son, but I don't approve of your lifestyle. It's hard for him because society tells him in our culture that being a gay, brown guy like myself who's out is not a good thing. I cannot expect my father to just turn around and embrace me and say, oh, I love your homosexuality. You know, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna take him many years to come to terms with it because it's a direct challenge to his masculinity and himself as my creator. He's my father. one day, maybe if I get married and I bring over his son-in-law, he'll be like, oh, great. Now that'll be the day.
I was flipping through the newspaper, the Georgia Straight, and there was an article about Sher, Vancouver. I remember just like focusing in on this article, and I took that paper home because I wanted to read it at home. And yeah, I like to see, oh my goodness, there's other people out there, enough to have a support group being formed. Like, that was amazing to me. I remember I met them the night before the Pride Parade. We met in a back alley in Vancouver to decorate the float. It was the first time I'd met any of these people, right? But it was amazing to see other queer people of color coming together. And yeah, it was really life-changing for me. It was the first time I had seen anybody celebrating being gay. Whereas before, it had always been a negative thing. You know, you always hear about these tragic stories about kids being disowned or people committing suicide. And people were hugging each other, there were rainbow flags everywhere, and that was the first time that I felt good about being gay. And I think every year afterwards, I still get moved. And yeah, it was really powerful to see that.
So actually, when I was working as a social worker for a health authority, one of my coworkers said, hey, Amar, I like big guys. And I said, yeah, guess what? So do I. So that was so funny, and it was kind of like an eye-opener, and, you know, I was kind of embarrassed. They think I'm a real masculine guy, but inside I'm like a real diva. You know? In the gay community, a lot of people don't want to date middle-aged, heavy, sad, bald, brown guys. Let's just face it, you know, and so I really don't know what's gonna happen. I managed to get to a place in my life where I have self-love. You know, sometimes people come into your life when you least expect it. I think if I'm a little bit more open and not as picky and a little bit more realistic, I think it'll happen.
Online dating was pretty new at the time. There weren't any of these apps, so it was really scary for me to make a profile, and it took a lot of guts, I think, and build up to have a profile. To start messaging people was really scary to me. So Agata had a profile with no picture, no description. She messaged me and said, give me your email and I'll send you pictures. I was like, this person's for sure gonna murder me and find out where I live. She would send me a message, and like a week or two later I would reply. And I think like 4 months went by, and then eventually I was like, okay, I should make an effort to meet this person now. And she always makes fun of that I made her wait so long. I remember having that first dinner with her, and something inside me told me that I would know her forever. Like she was comforting to be around. You know, like she's my person, and I have a level of trust with her that I've never experienced before.
Now, if she has a partner, what else I ask from God? Yeah, that's the good moment for me. Yeah.
She fits right in the family in there.
She fits
right
right in. Yeah.
For so long, I didn't think it was possible. I didn't know how I would have a family. And now that I'm here, it just feels so much better than I ever could have imagined it. I'm most proud of Jaya. Just waking up to her every morning is the best feeling. Hearing her say mama to both of us is the best feeling. And just seeing her grow from this tiny newborn into a little toddler that she is now, like, it's amazing to be able to witness that. I just want her to be so loved that she never questions how she was made or how, like, why is she here in a family without a dad? She has 2 moms. She's half Indian, half Polish. Like, there's a lot going on there, but I hope we're raising her in a way where she'll be proud of her family. I do feel like times are changing. I am still scared that she'll get bullied or teased for having 2 moms. Hopefully, like all my other fears, they go unfounded. I want her to be able to stand up if someone does tease her. I want her to be able to say, yes, I have 2 moms and it's amazing.
When we are there, I was relaxed, more relaxed. Now they are family. It's a perfect. It's a blessing.
Every time I see her, she makes us smile.
Make us like it's no matter.
She do the
it's
stuff,
raining,
you know,
it's a sunny day
start
for us.
running around in there, just so happy in there.
Nana, Nani.
She start talking and calling Nana.
Is a grandpa. Nani is a grandma. Yeah. The sound of father makes us hug.
Yeah.
Hug her. Maybe all kids love their grandparents. Yeah. It's amazing.
I would say thank you to my parents for just embracing me and my brother the way they have, embracing Agatha and Jaya the way that they have.
Hanaji, kidda
They've been these quiet advocates for us.
You know, before I came out to you guys, I think I was just really scared or nervous for quite a few years. I don't know. I think all the time I always, in my own head, I always thought every reaction was going to be worse. I don't think I was ready for it. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't have asked for a better reaction, so I really appreciate that. So I think Jaggu and I are very lucky.
We are
So thank
lucky
you.
too. We are lucky too. But ਅਸੀਂ proud ਹਾਂ ਪੁੱਤ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ proud ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਸੈੱਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਖਰੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣ ਲਈ ਦੂਜੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ proud ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੈਸ ਹਾਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈਪੀ ਹਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ ਡੈਡੀ
My parents are the first and only ones so far that have acknowledged it, that have started conversations with their relatives. And I think that's so big, you know, to not be ashamed of us.
First you care about your own kid, then society comes. Only care about that baby who struggle and come out and how much courage he has or she has to tell you.
It's okay to be different. It's not the parents' fault or the kids' fault. It's a God's given thing.
Being different, being gay or being somebody else, nothing wrong with that. Different makes strong. Then you face challenges and one day you become very strong person. I know.
Don't force them to,
what they are not.
what they're not. Accept them the way they are. Love them.
Love the child as a child. They are personally very badly hurt and injured emotionally by other people. They do not understand them. Do not try to change it. You're gonna waste your own life for that. But no, this thing you cannot change. And let them live, and you be happy, they be happy. Yeah. Embrace them.
I'm proud of Caden, and I hope he knows that I'm proud of him, because I know I'm very hard on him sometimes. I have high expectations for him. He is a smart kid, he's intelligent, he works hard, volunteers. He is really a gem. Nice to see you, nice to see you. Such a welcome. He's changed his life, and he's changed our life by being such a great kid. He's given us purpose in our life, to my mom and to myself.
I am so proud of him. I just treat him as my own baby. And he's so gentle, so kind, very loving, affectionate child. And I used to worry about him a lot. Many nights I could not sleep. What is the future for that kid? How he feel inside? He is God's child. God gave us the opportunity to love him. I will always love him. And if he understands that for himself, personally, I will be very happy to see him.
I mean, in a sense that sometimes I wish, why I wasn't born to such an amazing parent like her, because my life would have been so much more easier, and I'm really blessed to have her in my life right now. I think I'm in a lot more happier place than what I was in the last 10 years or so. I mean, I know I'm relatively young, but I feel old because I've had to endure so much in my life. An appreciation for things which I guess younger people don't have. I'm more open to experiences now. I'm more open to putting myself out there and being vulnerable with people. Falling in love, falling out of love, falling in love again. Yeah, just trying to experience life and the colors of it, which is amazing, I guess, in a way.
I think I'm most thankful that I'm able to live openly now. I don't need to hide. If you had told me 10 years ago that this is how I'd be living, I would have found that very hard to believe. I would say to someone who's starting this journey that there's nothing wrong with you. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. You don't need to try to be straight. You don't need to try to dress differently, talk differently, walk differently. Somehow, you need to find your people, even one other person who gets you, who is like you. I think that's a big step so that you feel less alone. That can make all the difference to make you feel heard and feel seen and safe.
A lot of people think gay is just a sexual act, but really it's about being a human being, about being loved and wanting to love someone, and being gay is just another way of loving.
God is a God. Why
It's a
would
man
he made?
who created all this stuff in there.
Yeah, why would he hate? Why would he hate my kids? He made them. It's his creation. Who are we to say? On the path will go at the end to God. God send them, and they will be one day. Everybody, you, me, him, anybody, we one day on the same height. But let them choose their own way.
One man died, one woman died. They both cremated. And the ashes sitting there, you ask those ashes, are you a man or a woman? No answer. So, for that reason, I understood that we are equal.
We are all humans. We are all human beings. We need to treat each other with dignity, respect, with love. Gay people are people too. They need to be loved too.
Try a little self-compassion, you know. We are our own worst enemies. Just go home and, you know, and tell yourself something that's loving, something that's kind.
Oh my God.
Couple nights ago, he wanted to back. The more time coming close, the more I'm getting nervous.
That's cute. It's like your hair is going to develop.
Miss Badge.